Hi, I'm Marilyn. I'm a speech and feeding therapist here at T.E.A.M for Kids. I'm here to talk to you today about messy play with food. Did you know that most kids decide if they're going to eat something based on the texture only, regardless of the smell or if it has tasted good in the past? Messy play with food gives us tons of information about the food itself and the world around us. So let's get started. Roll up our sleeves and see how we're going to go about tackling this step. First off, use the food that's already in your home. Take a look through your cabinets and see what you have. I went looking here at T.E.A.M for Kids and found some cereal I could use. I've got elbow macaroni I could use, and I've got a big bag of sugar I could use. I also looked around for manipulatives or materials I can use to make it fun. I would use some Legos, I've got some farm animals, and some carbs. If I was doing this as a parent, I would allocate these materials only for messy play. I would keep them up in a plastic bag, and that's because these materials become special. Because only during messy time are the kids able to use those materials, so they seem new to them and special all the time. So, we're at the table. Are we going to use the full table, or do you want to contain it a little bit? One idea is to use trays. They have these at the dollar store. Or you can use the plastic portion of a lid of a container. You can also use the lid of a box. Anything that's flat and that maybe has a little lip to it to keep the food on it. Then decide on the day and time that you're going to go about planning this. Choose a time where it's not as rushed for your family. Every family has their own needs, and base it on what's best for your family and your children. It might be on a weekend, it might be during the week when you have a day off. Starting off, as far as how much time to allocate, again, really dependent on your child that you're targeting this for and what their needs are. If they're not real great at handling textures, if it's hard for them to have their hands wet and messy, you may start with only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and that's fine. It's just getting started. Also getting started, if it's a new activity for your child, you may also want to use a timer so that you and the child know that the messy play has a beginning and it has an end. And as soon as that bell goes off, it's an end. And even if your child, for the first few times, just sits there and doesn't interact with anything, it's okay. They will get used to it. Just have them sit there and know that during this time, I'm going to be doing some messy play with my mom. Once you have the items, put the sugar, for example, in the tray, then you can add the manipulatives. You might want to use the car and say, I'm going through some snow, or I'm going to build a snowbank and a building in the snow. Describe to your child what you're doing. Instead of saying, come on, play in it, come on, chuck the sugar out, touch, 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 touch. Just tell them what you're doing. You know what? I'm going to build some snow mounds with these cars. I'm going to build the big building. Whoops! 1, 2, 3, knock it over. Soon your child will start to interact or try to touch the items on the tray. And take notice. Is he able to dive right into it? Does he only like putting his fingertips on it? Or one of his fingers? Is he putting his whole hand into it? Take notice to how much he puts into it. If you have other children, invite them to be involved in this play. A lot of times, the child that you're thinking of for this is really encouraged by the other peers, his brothers and sisters. I hope you have a lot of fun with this and playing with your child with the food. Want to let you know, please start with dry items like cereal, like sugar, then move to the wet items, maybe adding some water or some milk to it. And then the last one is the sticky substances like honey or jelly. So take one at a time as your child's able to handle it. If you have any questions about this or your child's development, please give us a call here at T.E.A.M for Kids. Thank you, and I hope you have a messy day. Bye.